Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back to GELIAT, Gerakan Literasi Athirah, and on our channel Athirah TV, inspiring and encouraging. Okay everyone, sahabat Athirah TV, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and we hope you enjoy this video until the end. Well, sahabat Athirah TV, our theme for this episode is writing as a voice and health therapy. Well, writing is actually one of the most important skill that we should have nowadays. We all know that writing or producing a good writing is not a piece of cake. It's really challenging because you have to read book a lot and you have to train your critical thinking. So let's just give a high appreciation to those who can produce a good writing, for those who can write. And one of them is our speaker today. On this episode, we will talk to a very special figure in Athirah Islamic School. He is our head of curriculum department in Athirah. Okay, please welcome Mr. Saharuddin S.Pd. We usually call him Saharuddin. Assalamualaikum, Saharuddin.
Waalaikumsalam, Dwi. What's up?
I'm great. How's life, sir?
Never been better.
Okay, thank you so much for your time for attending this program. Okay, well, sahabat Athirah TV, let's get started with our speaker today. Well, okay, sahabat Athirah TV, let's just get started with our speaker today. Before we move to our main topic today, would you like to share a little bit about your story, when you start writing, when you start producing book or essay or something like that?
Okay, it's a very tough start anyway. And yeah, talking about my starting point in writing, I think it's a kind of very simple thing that I started writing when I was in junior high school. And then in senior high school, I'm one of the committee for the board magazine in my school. And yeah, willy-nilly, when the writing wasn't enough for the board magazine, it means that it was the responsibility for the committee to fulfill the kind of writings. And then since then, I think that was the first time I was interested in writing. And then in university, I joined some kind of writing communities. Like one of them, I still remember, and yeah, FLP, Forum Lingkar Pena, you know. And then, yeah, let's say my professional writing process began when I was when I graduated from university. Yeah, started from them. I tried to send my writing to mass media like newspapers, magazine, and I tried to make some kind of connection to several person in publishers and so on. I think that the story that I want to share about my journey in writing.
Wow, it's really great, sir. So you have started writing since you were in school, yeah, senior
Yeah,
high school, and then you continue until university, join writing organization, writing club, because you want to improve your skills, yeah, something like that, sir. Wow, it's a really nice story. Well, at the time when you were in senior high school, was it your own willingness, or you had to join any competition and then you start writing? Was it, I mean, okay, I want to start writing, or any other reason?
yeah. I think this is a very interesting question for me. Um, Try to find out why I write from, yeah, let's say junior high school until now. I'm writing. Yeah, actually, the main factor for me is I kind of enjoy reading.
Mhm.
Yeah, I still remember when I was even in elementary school, I used to go to the school library, and there I still remember one of a very interesting magazine at the time for me. Uh, it was called Warta. So Warta is a kind of government magazine.
Magazine
Yeah,
sounds so
government magazine, and then it's a kind of news about how the government work, and then uh, it is talking about anyway about governance and politics. But I enjoy reading them. So that's the first time I think I enjoy reading, and then. Um, when I was in senior high school, it seems like what I've read before is really interesting to write. And then I write for the board magazine, and then I join some competition, especially poetry writing competition. And then at the time, yeah, um, frequently I won the competition at that time. And I think my motivation getting bigger and bigger since that time. And then I enjoy writing as I enjoy talking to people.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow, it's really nice inspiration. It's really nice story about why at the
Is
first time
it?
you want to start writing, sir. So at first, actually, you like reading. I mean, you like reading, and then uh,
Uh-huh.
you want to challenge yourself, and then you start writing what you have read. Yeah, something like that. That's the point that I get
Yeah,
from you.
that's the point.
So I heard you mention one of the old magazine at the time. It's Warta. You know, it sounds
Uh-huh.
really old, sir.
Yeah,
Warta,
it sounds.
yeah. But we are not talking about that. Well, let's continue. Well, we know that in Indonesia we have many popular writers. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, do you have any favorite writers from Indonesia that inspire you when you start writing? Or maybe you are a person, you are a writer who get inspired by yourself. It means you don't need inspiration from others.
Oh, I'm not that kind of special child. So talking about my favorite writers, I could not mention only one name, but I have several names
First.
for that. So I grew up with novels, and then short stories, and then um, poetry. and many kind of writing. Even a textbook, I think at that time is a really interesting one to explore. So if you ask me about my favorite writer, I can mention some name. The first one is N. Hadini. And Hadini is let's say he's a very inspiring woman writer for me, because every single thing that she produced at that time is very let's say full of kind of voice and then kind of messages, and it's kind of cool at the same time. So they are talking about, let's say, complexity of the gender, but at the same time he proposed the idea in a really entertaining way. And then the second one, if I could mention, right now I'm reading many writers. I'm reading them, especially the writers from Eastern Indonesia. So I just realized that there's a moment, there's a time that we are really Western Indonesia centered. Let's say we talk about several Japanese or Sumatra writers at that time. And then now I realized that we also have a very good materials from Eastern Indonesia.
Of course.
And that's and that inspires me and then influenced me a lot to read their work, to read their literary work. And I think they have a really unique way to express, to explore, and then our culture, and then the side of our urban society, and then many things. So I'm reading Aan Mansur, Faisal Odang, IBS Palogai,
I know him.
Alfian, yeah, and then Alfian di Patahang, and then many more, Sinta Febriani, and yeah, kind of. And then I also read some kind of literary work from NTT and NTB, just like Mario Eflawi, and then Sinda, and many more. There are two writers festival that becomes the kind of a really great information for me about what kind of writing that I will read. The first one is Ubud International Writers and Readers Festival, and then the second one, you have been the volunteer there.
MUWF,
IWF, Makassar International Writers and Readers Festival. I think, and then many big names in literary world in Indonesia, like Sapardi Djoko Damono, and then Taufik Ismail, Sutarji Kalsumbahri. Even Hairil Anwar is one of my favorites. So I read a lot, and for me, only two kind of writings. The first one is the good one, and then the second one is the very good one. There is no bad
so
one,
there is no good writing, sir,
Yeah.
Because we have our own version of writing. Maybe for you it's good, for me it's not good, but maybe for me it's good, and for you it is not good. So it's based on our version, sir,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a kind of taste, just like.
Thank you, sir. It's really fun. It's such a nice talk about your experience in writing and also in reading some books. And then those popular names that you mentioned before, those who are inspire you in writing, sir. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, sir. Well, you have written many works. You have written, let's say, yeah, many writings, and some of them is nonfiction, and some of them is fiction. Correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Yeah. And one of your book is this one. Um,
Oh, that's my second book.
Here you have another book, but uh, this is the only book that I mean your work. Yeah, this is the
Yes.
only book that I have, whose writer is you. It is Lebaran Mayat. The title is Lebaran Mayat. You know, the title is really interesting. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I bought this book 2 years ago, if I'm not wrong. It was in 2018. Yeah, if I'm not wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, and a few years ago, if I'm not wrong, you were one.
Have you
No,
done the payment to me?
first winner. Yes, sorry, sir.
Have you done the payment to me? Have you
Yes,
paid
of
that book?
course.
Oh.
That's
Okay,
first
okay.
beginning, sir.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. Joking.
Yeah. Yeah. So, a few years ago, you were also first winner of Nusantara writing competition, right?
Uh-huh.
And then recently, you were second winner of Kala writing competition. Wow, it's such a
Wow.
good achievement, sir. Not all people can do that. Yeah, writing is a complicated thing. For me, if you can read, it doesn't mean that you can write. That's
Okay.
my point actually. Okay, sir. If you have a choice, or you have to choose, which one do you prefer? Fiction, writing fiction story, or non-fiction story?
All right. Yeah, another difficult question.
No.
But I think, but I think this is a kind of very challenging question to answer. And then the second one, this is a kind of um, legendary questions to some writers, or they're talking them in many discussion, many sharing session, and many more. All right. Before answering your questions about which one I do prefer about writing fiction or non-fiction, um, we ask the question sometimes, but I do not say you also do the same. Is we ask the questions without knowing about what is fiction and what is non-fiction. Let's say,
Wow.
yeah, if our understanding is just about when you write a poetry, when you write a novel, when you write a kind of short stories, it's a fiction. And then when you kind of write about
Yes.
articles, and then essays, and many kind of scientific writing things, um, those are non-fiction.
Non-fiction.
Yeah, it's not as simple as that, I think. And then,
Okay.
yeah, right now anyway, we cannot find a kind of borders between fiction and non-fiction. So they mixed up together in the recent time. So we almost cannot differentiate among two of them. So both of them is just like share the same room right now for me. So
Yeah.
let's say writing poetry. Writing poetry is not always propose you. It's a kind of imaginary things, but right now the poetry using facts, and then it's a kind of there are a lot of research before writing a
Wow.
poetry, and
Great.
then there's kind of writing. Even I see the kind of trends recently that when we want to create some kind of work, um, it's just like you have to do research longer than writing your work itself.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah, let's
yeah,
say
challenging.
when you hear about Aroma Karsa from Dewi Lestari, have you ever heard about the novel?
I know the
Uh,
writer, but the novel, no.
yeah, Aroma Karsa is a kind of a really specific research about the fragrance, about the flowers, about many things in the kind of field that did long before the novel was written. So I think if I prepare, I will choose both. I'll be fair. I'll choose both.
Let's be fair, ya. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good reason, sir. A good excuse.
Okay.
Okay, so really nice information. Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree with you. Some writer put fiction and non-fiction into a same. I
Yeah.
mean, into a same
In the
writing,
same
into one
frame.
writing.
Okay.
Okay, so let's the readers define which one is the fiction part and which one is the non-fiction part.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
You're right.
Yep. Okay, sir. Well, sahabat Athirah TV, yeah, uh, our theme for today is, let me remind you again about our theme today. So our theme today is writing as a voice and help therapy. Writing as a voice is actually how the writers deliver the message to the readers, or let's say the motivation of the writers themselves, yeah, in writing. Okay, so Sir Didin, I have read your book Lebaran Mayat, and I
Mhm.
really enjoy the way you wrote, and I really enjoy every poetic sentences that you use in that story. Maybe you
Uh,
didn't realize it, but I got that point. Okay,
okay.
and then sometimes you put like mystery inside the story, mystery, whether in the middle of the story or at the end of the story. Sometimes we think that, okay, this story is about happiness, but at the end, oh, it's sad actually. For me personally, it's a great skill. And even you put some messages related to social, economic, culture, and even politics issue. Am I right? Am I
Yeah.
right, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I got that point too. But it's really
You are a good
implicitly
reader
delivered.
anyway.
Oh no, I'm not that good. Okay, sir. So as a writer, both fiction or non-fiction writer, um, how do you see writing as a voice? How do you see this case? How do you think about that?
Okay. Talking about the points, talking about the messages, I think it's a very deep one. It's a very deep one. So I always remember there are two requirements in writing something. The first one is um, do not let your writing voiceless. And then the second one, do not let your writing motionless. So voiceless and motionless means that you write something, but it has no voice in it. You wrote something, but the story um, doesn't move. It's a kind of, let's say, the voice means that you have to really think about the writing before you produce, before you publish to people or to community. So voice means that you have a really internal value to share to the world. Um, it's kind of about a personal thing that you feel that the world should know about it. And then sometimes we have a message in it, and then furthermore, it's also have a kind of agenda to move people to also feel about the things, to create a room in our head to think about it, and then to make other people aware, and then realize there is a kind of such reality around us. And then that's what we call, for me, is a voice. So you have a kind of internal perspective that you would like to share to people in terms of positivity. And then the second one is about the yeah, writing is a voice. I think the writer have a responsibility to spread out the positive messages to people.
Sure.
So yeah, and then but let's say, yeah, it's a kind of complicated things talking about the messages in writing, because yeah, it's not really easy to find out what is the real messages that we try to convey or to deliver to the public. Um, for example, when I write about the PKI, it doesn't mean that I'm the PKI supporters.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, let's say
yeah.
when one of the character in my short story, uh, yeah, it's about the PKI member, and then I described her or him uh, as a human that also need a kind of yeah, a kind of a protection, and then a kind of tolerance. But it doesn't mean that I support the
The idea.
ideology.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So I think voice is a very personal thing. It's a very personal thing that I cannot even describe clear about my own voice in writing.
Wow. It's hard, yes, sir. Sometimes
Yeah.
what we really want to share, what we really want to deliver to others, they don't get what I mean, or what we want. Yeah, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. It's really challenging. That's why I say writing, or a writer is a very great man, because there is a very complicated things inside them. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to note that they are not always being a complicated man or a complicated
Yeah.
human.
Yeah.
No,
But I mean, the way
don't
they
get us
think really
wrong.
complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir, for your information. It's really nice. Well,
yeah.
um, that's Mr. Didin's perception, ya, sahabat Atira TV, about writing as a voice. Okay, so it's like how you deliver the message of your writing to people. Okay, so the next one is about writing as health therapy. Okay, well, writing actually is a beneficial activity, yeah, because we can broaden our knowledge, we can improve our critical thinking by writing. But you know what, there is another benefit that we can get from writing, not only about knowledge, but there is another thing that we can get. It's about our health, yeah, both mental health and physical health. So I just read a research from Harvard University. A doctor from that university already showed that actually writing, especially um, expressive writing, like you write your feeling or something like that, it can help you to manage your emotion. So it's related to mental health. Yeah, but personally, I think if your mental is healthy, your physics will be healthy too. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's
interesting.
related to each other, sir. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, talking about this, how, Sardin, how do you see this case? I mean, maybe you can share your own experience when you write something, when you get stressed, when your mind is, oh my god, what happened to me, and then I have many problems, and then writing is one of your best solution for that. You know, many other people, most of people think that, oh my god, writing is a very hard thing, and then when you get stressed, you write. Does it make sense? Okay, so here we will see Mr. Didin's perception about writing as health therapy. Okay, Sir Didin, please.
All right. I should um, breathe deeply for the kind of questions. So yeah, writing as a health therapy. I think that's right. I think that is really, really right. As long or so far, I feel like writing is just like stress release that can you feel that can make you feel a kind of yeah relief and then heal and many things. So there are kind of a curative aspect of the writing. Let's say about talking about the health therapy means that it's a kind of mental health anyway, mental health. So it's a kind of um, we as a human, of course, we have many burdens in our soldier, and then there are so many things around our head, spinning around about the job, about the family, about economics, about the financial, then about the things happening right now, the pandemic, and then about our social life, and then many things. So I think um, uh, those kind of hard feeling or hard thought need a kind of tunnel to 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 flow. So when we are as a kind of glass, we can be really full with the negativity if we do not try to make a kind of tunnel a little bit. So, and then when you write, it means that you express your deepest feelings that just a kind of talking to people. But when you write, you talk to the computer, you talk to the laptop, you talk to the keyboard and screen, you talk to the papers, you talk to pen, just like um, talking to people to share, to make us feel better. And then what is better when we write than talking to people? When you write something, it means that you can say anything that you want. There's no limit. There's no boundary.
Yeah.
Then and then the second one, they will not interrupt you. So when you talk to
When you speak, when
people,
you talk, yeah,
yeah, when
yeah.
you talk to people, you say something and then they reply. You talk about this and then they say about that. They do not really listen to us. And then the third one is about when you write, it means that you can enlarge your brain capacity. So when you want to write something, especially when you would like to publish them, you have to work really hard to enrich yourself, to enlarge your perspective and insight before doing the writing. So I think it's a kind of health. It's a kind of healthy, I
Yeah.
think. And then also writing can be the very good medicine for the mental health, because of when you are a good writer, you can earn money from that. So
Yeah,
you
it
will
can
feel
help
like,
our, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
yeah. So you can feel like a little bit happier, because you get a few
Achievement.
amount of, yeah, achievement, and then a few amount of money. And just for your information, this is not to show up, but to just like to motivate people, yeah, outside, that writing sometimes is a really, let's say, promising things, as a job or as a side job. I give
Okay.
you an example. In 2014, I won a competition tulis Nusantara, held by Kementerian Pariwisata and Usaha Kreatif. And then, yeah, Alhamdulillah, at the time,
Great.
I was in the first place. And then, um, the amount of money that I get is more than 10 million rupees for only one poetry.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
It's a
but
kind of,
your effort behind that, it's really, I mean, yeah, it's balanced, sir. Yeah, the
yeah.
amount of money and then your hard work. I mean,
Okay. I think that's my point, talking about the what writing as a health therapy. And then, even the let's say, our some kind of doctor right now, especially, yeah, they are dealing with the mental health. There's a therapy that you write down any problem that you have. You can say anything on that paper. You can be angry to people. You can be, yeah, so rude in your writing. And after that, you read it again. And after that, you tear up the papers, or you burn the papers. And then after that, the research shows that there's a kind of lower level of stress or depression if you do that.
okay. Wow, thank you so much for your opinion, sir. It really can broaden our perception about writing. So writing is not always talking about something that uh, like make your brain get stressed. Yeah. So in vice versa, it actually can also help your friend, help your brain when it gets stress. Yeah, yeah, like stress relief. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
say something like that. Okay, sir. Well, um, yeah, maybe this is the last, but not the least. Okay, do you have any project for the next writing activity?
All right. So I always have a project in writing.
Wow,
So
great.
yeah, um, since my first novel in 2012, and then I wrote for the newspaper for kind of poetry, and then short stories, and then essays for years. And then my second work that you have, uh, in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I'd like to show you my first work, this one. We
Oh,
call
the
Pulang
first
Kampung. It's a
ya,
kind of novel. Then
novel.
there is my picture here, a young and
The
handsome.
handsome one. Don't say that.
Long ago.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
Then,
joke.
yeah, my short stories book published in 2018, and then after that, actually, I wrote for several online portal magazine, and then yeah, short stories, and then poetry, and many more. And then in this kind of September, one of my short story will be in Maghrib ID. Is one of a really selective e-magazine about literature, and I'm one of the contributor this month. So there you can see um, the difference between the style of writing that I used in 2018 and right now. It's been a long way different.
Different.
Yeah, and hopefully it's improved in a better level, I think. And I also wrote several poetry, and right now the reason one, I do need your prayer. In October, um, the students of Athirah Islamic School, especially in Senior High School, will publish a kind of poetry. Yeah, it's a kind of collaborative work among three branches, uh, Kajolalido, Bukit Baruga, and Bone. And it's a really good one. Let's
Great.
say, uh, yeah, in October, hopefully you can have one of the book, and I will give you one, and I will give you one free. Okay. I'll give you one
Okay.
free, and then there
Noted.
you can see, yeah, you can see that, yeah, our younger brother and sister, let's say our students right now, have a very good and unique taste of writing.
Okay.
So yeah, if you sometimes, let's say, you read some kinds of ally writing out there, you will not find in that kind of book. So yeah, hopefully it
Yeah.
release yeah, soon, and then we can show you the hard work of our students. And then my writing project, I think next year I will publish another work of mine.
Wow, so great. Hopefully, all the projects that you will do by your own or with the students, especially students in Athirah Islamic School, uh, will run well. I mean, ya Rabbal
Amin, ya
Alamin.
Rabbal Alamin.
Okay, well, sahabat Athirah TV, the time went so fast. Now I think we are at the end of our session. Uh, thank you so much, Sir Didin, for your sharing, really inspiring motivation.
Not too inspiring.
Yeah, it's inspiring. Honestly, personally, for me, it's really inspiring. Well,
Okay, the last
let,
one. Can I give my favorite quotes for?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I'm going to read it for you,
Oh,
and then you,
okay.
what does it mean?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so the quotes is write garbage as long as you edit brilliantly. Wow, it's really complicated quotes. Maybe Saharuddin can explain about the quotes.
Yeah, it's a kind of do not feel like doubt to write anything, because at the end of the day, the point that will decide your writing is worth it or not is about how you do the editing. So just write down, But after that, you have a really harder work that is editing. So
Yeah.
I think that's the point.
Yeah, that's also a good motivation, yeah, from Sir Didin to close our session for today. Okay, well, thank you so much again, Sir
My
Didin, for your
pleasure. Thank you so
time.
much for
Really nice
having me.
to talk to you. Well, maybe later we can invite you again for another episode with another theme, yeah.
And another language, anyway.
Oh, another
Let's
language.
say
I will not be
Makassarese or Latin or Spanish. Yeah.
whatever. Okay, thank
Whatever.
you, Sir Didin. Well, sahabat Athirah TV,
Thank
that's
you,
all for
Dwi.
this episode. Hope you enjoy this talking. Yeah, and we hope that you will get inspired and encouraged as always. Don't forget to watch the next episode of GELIAT, Gerakan Literasi Athirah, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. only on Athirah TV channel, inspiring and encouraging. Okay, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye everyone. Thank you, Sir Didin.
You're welcome, Dwi.